What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy. And today's case is about a woman who, driven by greed, does atrocious things to the people that she apparently loves. This is the case of Michael Wallace and David Castor. Listener's discretion is advised.
Why, hello to all our lot of friends and family.
Yes, hey guys.
And hey, Bevy.
Hey sis.
What's new? What's exciting? How's life?
Life is good. Preparing for the holidays that are upcoming.
Oh, yes, it's my birth month.
And it's your birth month.
That's right. Me.
All about you.
All about me.
And
all
Jesus.
about Becky.
And Jesus. But yes.
Sure. Just
And
kidding. We believe in Jesus. And Becky.
Yeah, so either way, you're born in December, you're awesome,
Let the celebrations begin.
and let the celebrations begin. We're excited.
That's right. I am. Now, I said this a little while ago to refresh your freaking memory.
Okay.
I'm hoping that with
Oh
my,
God, we know,
my lovely.
Becky.
What? Tell me what I was going to say.
A food tasting.
Okay, I do want that, but that's not what I was going to say. So, I was going to say I'm hoping for a fondue party with my family.
Becky,
Or a food
you have
tasting.
like it's like similar vibes, but you're changing your mind daily. Is it a fondue tasting or is it
Okay,
a food tasting?
it could be both. Hear me out. Okay, as
It
I
could be
mentioned, I
both,
want.
she says. Oh my
It
gosh.
could be. Okay, as if you're going to get full from a blind taste test like Hell's Kitchen. You're going to have like one tiny mouthful of carrots, one tiny mouthful of garlic, cheese, who knows what else, but then you're left not satisfied. We're going to be hungry. So, you have some fondue.
Okay, I can see your point here.
Okay, let the fam know, and hopefully I'm not disappointed.
Okay.
And also don't forget, I did say I would accept a trivia night over a blind taste test. It's on record, so don't forget.
Okay.
I said it this day.
You sure did. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Bev sounds like she's all like, we'll see. But Bev always shows up. She
I like to keep you on your toes.
she does. But
You
she
know?
follows through with usually what I want.
Usually, it's true.
Like at least 80 to 90%. So I feel confident that my desires will be fulfilled.
I feel like that's a good follow-through percentage.
That's
as
pretty
a
good.
human being. Like, I feel
Absolutely.
like that's pretty good.
Some people are sitting pretty low. So,
Yeah.
good for you, Bev.
Yeah. I'm at least above the average.
Success.
All
There you go.
right. Well, next week you'll be able to tell everyone how your birthday went. So, moving on from you and moving towards the case for today. It's a shorter case, which is okay. But you will not be disappointed. Just like Becky hopes not to be for her birthday.
That's right.
So, Stacey Castor's life began in upstate New York. She was born as Stacey Daniels on July 24th of 1967. She grew up in a modest household and attended high school in Weedsport, New York. At 17, she met Michael Wallace, a 23-year-old known for his love of partying. They fell for each other quickly, and Stacey would later say she knew within minutes of meeting him that they would marry. True to her instincts, they did just that in 1988, welcoming their first daughter, Ashley, the same year. And in 1991, they had a second daughter, Bree. Now, isn't that lovely, Becky?
Sisters.
No.
Oh.
That was sweet, though. Is it my turn to feel your love?
Do you feel like you feel my
I
love?
feel
Sister,
it.
love
I love
it.
you. Oh, my goodness.
What were you going to say? If it wasn't that.
I was going to say, love at first sight. When you know, sometimes you just know, don't you?
Yeah, you totally sometimes
When I
just
saw
know.
Craig's smile from across the way, something changed inside of me
And you knew.
that day that he would be the man I would marry. I even told my mother
Did
after
you?
our first date.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
That's adorable.
I know.
When I first saw Jamie, I thought, holy shit, that's a big beard.
No, you didn't. Give me a freaking break.
I surely did. And then this girl I worked with at Minute Lube, as we've discussed before, had like the biggest crush on Jamie. And she's like, oh my God, Jamie this, Jamie that, Jamie this, Jamie that. And so when he walked in, I literally was like, who the F is that with that fucking big beard? Like, that was my first thought. And then he looked at me and I was like, oh, that's Jamie. That's literally all my first thought was. And then I fell in love with him not long after.
Not long after.
Arguably, it was just a little schoolgirl crush.
Because Jamie is 6 years Becky's senior.
Yeah.
And I think you were 14 at the time.
No. I was like a month shy of turning 16.
So 15. Okay, so you were 15 at the time.
Yeah.
And he was, let me do my math real quick.
6 years.
21?
Come on. Yes. We did not get together till later, just to be clear.
No, that is very true.
Yeah.
Jamie was an honorable man in that fashion.
Absolutely.
It was not necessarily love at first sight for Jamie.
No.
He was like, look at that child over there.
Pretty much. Oh, our new
like,
tire bitch.
Googly eyes. Look
No.
at that man with the beard. He's
In
so
my
manly.
defense, I really did not have a crush on him for like probably almost a year. Because I hardly ever worked with him, so I didn't get to know him. Nothing like that. It was just like, oh, there's the man that everyone's talking about. Look at that big-ass beard.
However, no,
It was huge.
Becky is downplaying the shit out of this. I'm
Oh.
sorry, guys, for this little tangent, but this is something you need to know. When Jamie...
You don't think I know my own feelings?
No. I do.
Uh-huh.
But what you're downplaying is the fact that somehow you didn't recognize Jamie's, like, face. Because, like, he's a good-looking guy.
No, he is. No, I'm just saying, like, literally the very first time I saw him, he walked
you saw
in.
his beard. I get it.
It
I
was
guess I'm just
huge.
giving props to your man because, like,
Oh,
he's a stunner. He's a handsome guy.
yeah, he is a very handsome
and
dude.
I can see why 16-year-old Becky was like, holy shit, I like that guy.
Yeah, it was. But it was not, like, love at first sight because, well, it just wasn't.
Because we're a slow burner. You had the odds against you.
We did. I was very young.
Yeah. So, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
you do. But yeah, God, he's handsome.
He sure is. And yeah, so either way, I definitely told Mom I was going to marry Craig. And I, too, 10 years later, was justified in that. Because we dated for 10 years before getting married.
You and Stacey almost one in the same.
Yeah, almost. So in a way, Becky, Craig and I could say we're slow burners, too, in that regard.
Yeah, you are slow burners. Sure.
Anyway, so sorry guys. Sorry if you have to fast forward.
I'm not sorry.
Oh my god, I glitched. I just glitched. Oh no.
Was that the Matrix?
Yeah, I was going to say if you had to fast forward through that part, apologies. But it was an interesting fact about our lives, so hopefully you listened.
Now get
Okay.
back to it, Bev.
Getting back to it. So from the outside, Becky, Stacey and Michael's marriage appeared stable. Stacey worked as an ambulance dispatcher, handling the demanding job while balancing the challenges of raising 2 young children. Michael, on the other hand, worked nights as a mechanic, which ultimately strained his physical health and often kept him away from his family.
I could imagine that would be very hard. Like, we know how we feel after we don't see Jamie and Craig for, like, our lives get busy for 2 or 3 days and you just, hi, good night, okay, love you, bye, next day, start it over again.
Like my life has no meaning.
Yeah, that's how you feel when you don't see your partner. So I can imagine how life has no meaning. Am I nothing to you? You see me.
Once a week. You think that's enough to get me through, Becky? It ain't.
Ooh, so we should hang out 2 times a week.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah, that's true, we do.
Yeah.
Anyways, I can imagine not seeing your husband every night and, having that nightly hangout and what else can really affect a relationship, right?
100%. And to top it off, they struggled financially.
Oh,
And we're living paycheck to paycheck.
adding to the stress.
Yeah.
Do you love true crime and travel? Having traveled the world solo the last couple of years and being obsessed with true crime, I found myself researching others who took the same vacations but never made it home. The Last Trip is a true crime podcast covering missing and murdered people that were living their best lives on vacation. I'm your host, Jamie Bevy, and each week I'll bring you on The Last Trip, taking a deep dive into vacation culture and travel spots, tips on staying alive while traveling, and ultimately recreating someone's last days in paradise. What led to their last trip? What are the hard facts? What is the final outcome? And could you be next? David Snedden was a 24-year-old college student from Utah attending Mandarin classes in Beijing when he mysteriously disappeared while hiking Tiger Leaping Gorge. Chinese authorities said he drowned in the gorge, and U.S. authorities agreed, although his body was never found and his parents didn't believe that. 7 years later, out of the blue, they got a phone call from a former U.S. official who had evidence David is still alive. This case sounds like a Hollywood movie, but evidence doesn't lie. So where is David Snedden? Famous rugby player and Celebrity X Factor contestant Levi Davis went missing in Barcelona last year while on a backpacking trip through Europe. Just days before he vanished, he posted a 15-minute video to his Instagram account saying his life was in danger and people were after him. After he disappeared, several theories emerged. But what really happened to Levi Davis? Join me, Jamie Beebe, co-host of the popular true crime series Strictly Stalking, as I embark on a brand new adventure combining true crime and travel. Listen to The Last Trip wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, my name is Kristen Riguidel, and I'm a licensed insurance broker across Canada and in the United States. But I want to ask you a question. Is life super predictable? No, there's always going to be curveballs in life, but there's two things that I can guarantee you. One, we're all going to have to pay taxes, and two, we're all going to die. I know, it's morbid, right? But it's true. And that's where life insurance comes in. Life insurance is a selfless act. At the end of the day, it's meant for your loved ones in the event you were to pass away unexpectedly. And not that money can ever replace us, but I always liked the idea of leaving some money behind for my brothers, whether that be for their college education, or a down payment on a house, or even just time off of work to grieve. Because the last thing I would want for my family is to have to go to work and pay the bills while they're grieving. And so life insurance gives you the peace of mind that no matter when you pass away, your loved ones are taken care of. With flexible plans, affordable premiums, and coverage that fits your unique needs, I do the shopping around for you so that you can get the protection without the hassle, because taking care of your future doesn't have to be complicated. If you'd like to discuss options, you can send me an email at krigidel15lrxc@wfgmail.ca or give me a phone call at 403-785-7670 to learn more and get a free quote today, so you can live tomorrow with peace of mind.
And complicating things even further, Michael developed a warm, attentive relationship with Bree, their younger daughter. And this favoritism quietly impacted the family. And Stacey, perhaps to balance things, grew especially close to Ashley, becoming best friends with her elder daughter. But the cracks were starting to show. And by the late 1990s, Michael's health issues had worsened, and the tensions between him and Stacey increased. And to top it all off, Michael had some issues with drug and alcohol use, and it was at this point that his usage of those things peaked. He also racked up several DUI charges, eventually landing him in jail. This served as a wake-up call for Michael, and he wanted to change. But by then, it seemed too late, and the couple had decided to divorce in 1999, but agreed to wait until after the holidays to spare their daughters. Or perhaps they were waiting for Y2K.
End it all. Actually, Y2K is just a computer crash.
I can't with you right now. That was nowhere in your research. That was you. You're so funny. You are hilarious.
Well, some people did believe that it was like once everything crashed, like everything would crash, right? Like the stock market, like everyone's lives would essentially be like over. Not like the end of the earth over, but like Great Depression over.
Right. So they thought, oh, lots of things are ending. We might not have to tell our daughters we're divorcing.
Make it
I guess
easy.
we'll just wait for Y2K. You are stupid. Stop laughing. So, in late 1999, obviously, they just told them after the holidays, Michael's health took a dramatic and alarming turn.
I'm sorry, Bev. Ooh. Okay, go.
Okay. He began experiencing unexplained episodes of illness that left him weakened and unsteady on his feet. His family watched as he developed a persistent cough, accompanied by swelling that altered his familiar appearance. Despite their concern, Michael, known for his stoic demeanor, dismissed his symptoms as seasonal. But his condition only worsened as the holidays approached, and family members urged him to see a doctor. But before he could follow through, tragedy struck. And on January 11th, 2000, Ashley and Bree returned home from school to find their father unresponsive. They called Stacey, who immediately contacted an ambulance. Paramedics arrived and rushed him to the hospital, but Michael ended up passing away en route to the hospital. He was only 38 years old, and his sudden death left his loved ones in shock and grief.
Could you imagine?
No.
As daughters?
No.
Or as children?
Hell no.
That would be like my worst childhood nightmare.
Yeah, no.
That and tornadoes.
Oddly enough, me too. I had nightmares about them.
Me too.
Weird.
I always use the stairs as a safe place in our basement.
I sure as shit didn't. I used the bathtub like a normal person, Becky. So either way, doctors...
What?
Yeah.
Normal?
Normal.
I
feel like it's widely known.
Did you at least put like a mattress over it?
Yes, exactly. See, widely known.
I think the stairs are widely known, like the basement concrete.
You know, perhaps. You're not as dumb as I think.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. There's some intelligence in there.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
Can't deny.
I said perhaps. Now, doctors pointed to a heart attack. I'm sorry to everyone listening. We are on a different form tonight, you and I.
Yes.
We're being sassy and silly. Hopefully we can rein it in if you all find it a little bit too much. But
I need to clarify when Bev does call me stupid.
I'm just referencing that she got poor grades as a younger person. I don't actually think my sister's stupid. I just jab her all the time because she didn't get very good grades in school, and I did. So I always pretend I'm the smart one. She's the dumb one. Just to, have some type of edge on her. But I definitely don't think you're dumb. I love you, and I think you're smart. I admire you in so many ways.
Oh, well, that was very nice.
Yes,
yeah.
No, it's
just
true.
to clear that up, it's just a running joke.
It's just a running joke in the family. Mm-hmm. We all have those things.
Yeah, my silence when she says it does not mean that I'm offended. It's like, oh, God damn it, she went there again.
Yeah, exactly.
Could we not get through one podcast
without this?
Nope, I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, even before the podcast, it happened upstairs.
She patted me on the cheeks and was like, oh, you're so stupid.
It was the head, actually.
Yeah, same thing, Bev.
Yep. So, either way, how young Michael was when he had passed, the doctors pointed to a heart attack. And this was a conclusion that seemed abrupt to some. Wallace's sister sensed something was off, and she ended up pushing for an autopsy to uncover any hidden truth. But Stacey firmly declined, saying the doctor's explanation was enough. And her certainty deepened the questions swirling around Michael's sudden passing, especially for his sister. That being said, Stacey did appear to be grief-stricken, but she quickly focused her attention on supporting her daughters. She did, however, receive a $55,000 life insurance payout and ended up taking Ashley and Bree to Disneyland, hoping to ease their pain.
Nothing will bring back my father.
Yeah, I mean, Disneyland is magical, I'm guessing, since I haven't been there, but could do nothing to ease the pain of losing my father, I'll tell you that.
Nope.
Now, those close to the family noted peculiarities in Stacey's behavior in the months following Michael's death, saying that she seemed detached, even around her daughters, and whispers among friends and relatives grew. Stacey's demeanor didn't quite match her circumstances, leaving everyone with an uneasy feeling. However, despite a lot of the uneasy feelings surrounding Michael's death, life continued to progress for Stacey. And only a year after Michael's death, Stacey met David Castor, a businessman who owned an air conditioning installation company. And David was, on all accounts, the polar opposite of Michael. He was driven, ambitious, and an outdoor enthusiast, a sharp contrast to Michael's more carefree, partying ways. Now, David had a son from a previous marriage named David Jr., and eventually he and Stacey married on August 16th, 2003. Stacey took a job with David's company as an office manager and once again projected an image of a devoted wife. Yet, behind closed doors, tensions emerged. Described by friends as strong-willed and hardworking, David often clashed with Stacey over finances and household matters. He told Stacey he was reluctant to help raise her children and had little tolerance for poor behavior, making one wonder what Stacey gained from this relationship. Was it stability?
I mean, it sounds like that's about it.
Yeah, he's not offering her help with her kids, which would be tough if you're married to somebody, to not be a team and cohesive in that regard. I think
for
a little
sure.
bit. So I could see that might make Stacey a little bit frustrated. But again, he has no real obligation to do so, right?
Yeah, but you would
Except
think.
for nice morals and like integrity, but whatever.
Yeah, and I know he already, like, he had a son, so he's he did his own dad thing, but like, why would you marry a woman with children if you didn't want to have to take any part of that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a little bit odd myself.
I can see how it would create some tension.
I can definitely see that as well, Becky. Now, this is where things get a little hairy. On August 22nd, 2005, so about 2 years after they married, Stacey calls 911. And she's claiming that David hadn't shown up for work that morning and that she hadn't seen him since 5 a.m. the previous day. She explained they'd argued about their upcoming 2-year anniversary plans and that David had kicked her and the girls out of the house.
That's pretty wild. Typically anniversaries are a pretty happy time.
Yeah, and it
And-
seems a little bit like a...
Not so happy time.
Well, not only that, but kind of seems like a minor disagreement.
Yeah.
And for David to kick her and the girls out of the house seems like, I don't know, doesn't match.
The circumstances.
That's right.
I feel like maybe it's like the straw.
That broke the camel's back, Becky.
Yes.
It could be, or it could be a complete lie.
Or that too.
So, who knows? Now, Stacey told the 911 operator that she had the girls leave, but she stayed behind Saturday night and into Sunday. After the fight, she mentioned that David locked himself in their bedroom with alcohol, and when she knocked later, she heard him snoring and assumed he'd passed out. She said she decided to spend Sunday night at a friend's house and went to work Monday morning, worried because she said David was suicidal at the time. So why would you leave him alone? And why would you just make your kids leave the house and you stay behind? What's going on with this?
Okay, I can kind of see why you'd actually be like, hey kids, like, we're gonna go stay at your friends or wherever they stayed. Because it's like, if she thinks he's suicidal, he's drunk, okay, let's get him out of the house in case anything happens.
He wasn't drunk until after they left, though. Let's
That's
clarify that.
Yeah, but he did ask them to leave, so I could get them out of the picture, and then she can just deal with whatever later.
She
But
can just stay to have a huge, massive fight? Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of seems odd, doesn't it, Bev?
It does seem a little bit odd. Like, if he asks you to all to leave, like, it just seems weird to me that you would just make your daughters leave and not go with them.
Yeah, if I had a fight with my partner that big and he told me to leave with the kids,
I would leave.
I'd be like, fine, screw you, Stan. I'm leaving.
Yes, Stan.
Leaving.
But also, just a little caveat here. I can't see why you would leave your husband who has locked himself in his bedroom with alcohol when you know he was suicidal. Like,
Yeah.
why did she choose that night to then go to a friend's house? I don't know. That seems a little bit weird. Like, just reading it, I'm like, what? That don't make sense.
Yeah, just enough to make you kind of...
Raise an eyebrow.
Yeah.
So the police end up going to the home to do a welfare check. And when police arrived and forced open the door, they found David dead, lying naked, face down on the bed, which was covered in vomit. On the nightstand, they discovered 2 glasses, one filled with a neon green substance, the other empty, as well as a bottle of apricot brandy, cranberry juice, an empty antifreeze container under the bed, as well as a shotgun. When Stacey finally arrived home, she appeared devastated, explaining that David had been depressed since his father's recent passing. However, detectives were uneasy with the scene, noting it was uncommon for suicide victims to be found naked. They also found it interesting that David had access to a gun and chose antifreeze over that to end his life.
Yeah, because actually, Bev, I looked it up, and based on the CDC, firearm deaths make up for more than half of suicide deaths. So
It would be just weird that antifreeze was the chosen method, right?
yeah,
Especially when he had both at his disposal.
exactly.
Now, with the initial information at the scene, the inconsistencies of Stacey's story, and just how odd the story was, David Castor's death was investigated and soon ruled to be a homicide. See, I knew there was something sketchy about that story.
You did.
I did. Now, forensic analysis confirmed antifreeze in David's system, revealing it had been ingested gradually over several days, which didn't align with a typical suicide. Investigators also found Stacey's fingerprints on the glass with antifreeze, a turkey baster with antifreeze, and David's saliva on the tip of the baster, suggesting it had been forced into his mouth. What is intriguing and suspicious is David's will left everything to Stacey, Ashley, and Bree, bypassing his close relationship with his son, David Jr.
Like, if that's not a red flag, Bev, I don't know what is.
I mean, he didn't even want to support them financially when they were alive. Why would he want to, upon his death, want to leave everything to them and completely boycott his son?
You say boycott?
What is the fucking word?
Boycott?
Boycott his son. He wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't.
And people close to David just really could not fathom a world where he would have left nothing for his son.
Yeah, they were super close.
And as detectives dug deeper, they began to suspect Stacey's involvement in David's murder and decided to look into her past, including the suspicious death of her first husband, Michael Wallace. So on September 5th, 2007, they exhumed Michael's body and found ethylene glycol crystals in his organs, which is indicative of antifreeze poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
With the inconsistencies of Michael and David's death, they start linking both deaths to Stacey. So detectives wiretapped her phone. They also installed surveillance outside of her home and monitored her two deceased husbands' graves. And when Stacey starts to recognize that suspicion was falling on her, she begins to panic, calling her daughters frequently to deny any involvement despite police suspicion. And on September 7th, Stacey was brought in for questioning. She had previously told officers that she'd only touched one of the glasses on David's nightstand to pour cranberry juice. During questioning, they asked her to identify which glass she'd poured it into, and she accidentally replied, "When I poured the cranberry juice."
Oh.
Stacey quickly tried to recover, accusing the police of tricking her before ending the interview. And as Stacey was grabbing her things to leave, a photo of the turkey baster from the detective's file fell on the floor, which further unnerved her. When she asked about it, they simply told her, "Don't worry about it. The interview is over."
Oh, if I was Stacey, I'd be shitting bricks right now. I'd be like, "Oh my god, they found the turkey baster. Oh my god."
I just accused them of trying to trick me. I said antifreeze. I know that's how I freaking put it into his mouth. Damn. They found fingerprints on the cup. They're definitely going to find it on that.
Yeah. I love how they're like, "Don't worry about it. You ended the interrogation or questioning.
Yeah.
It's over.
They're
Goodbye."
like, leave.
I'm going to leave you
Panic.
with all the freaking out.
Yes. And we have you on surveillance. So let's see what you do.
Yes, Stacey, let's see.
So yeah, ultimately I'd be shitting bricks too, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 5 days later, on September 12th, detectives make their way to the college that Ashley was attending to inform her that Michael, her father's death, was being investigated as a homicide as well. Distraught, Ashley was completely caught off guard and called Stacey in a panic to share her concerns. Recognizing that her daughter was upset, Stacey invited her over for drinks to calm her down. Now, keep in mind, Ashley is only 20 and underage, so this was all heard on the wiretap. And after her classes were done, she went home to her mom. Stacey poured Ashley a few drinks, but quickly Ashley started to feel unwell and went to bed. God damn it, Becky. I knew as soon as the drinks were mentioned, I was like, this woman can't be trusted with the drinks.
No, she can't.
But she wouldn't, right? Her own daughter.
Surely you would think not.
But we know Ashley felt unwell and went to bed. The next day, Ashley got up and went to school with very little memories from the previous evening. And that same day, Stacey asked Ashley to share a few drinks with her again. Ashley reluctantly agreed, assuming her mom was stressed out with everything and just needs someone to be with.
I mean, you're a young, naive 20-year-old. Maybe you do think, "Oh no, my mom's just going through a rough time. I'm just going to be there. We have a couple drinks. Cool."
I mean, listen, any person is not going to assume that their mother is doing something sketchy or, malicious.
It's true.
However, in this instance, we're both thinking it. Like, she needs to finish the deed.
Yeah.
Right?
Didn't get it done the first time.
Didn't get it done the first time. Ashley just felt unwell.
Yeah.
So this time, When Stacey gave Ashley a drink, the drink tasted strange, but Stacey urged her to suck it back, and Ashley did, only to feel sick once more. And on September 14th, 2007, 17 hours later, Ashley's younger sister Bree found her passed out in her bed unresponsive.
On the brink of death.
Bree yelled at Stacey to call 911. And Stacey did. She told the dispatcher that Ashley had downed a bottle of alcohol and taken a bunch of pills. While they were still on the phone with 911, Bree found a hidden 750-word suicide note that Ashley appeared to have written, where she confessed to killing both Michael and David with, and I quote, anti-free, and didn't want her mother to be blamed for her wrongdoings, end quote. Now, if you have a really keen listening ear, you might have picked up on the fact that I said anti-free in that quote and not anti-freeze, which will be an important little tidbit for later. So we will touch on that. So keep that in the back of your mind. So after paramedics arrived, they rushed Ashley to the hospital where they were able to save her in the nick of time. When Ashley woke up, investigators spoke with her about the claims in her suicide note. Ashley denied writing the letter or even attempting suicide. Investigators, suspicious, compared the note with Ashley's handwriting. The note lacked Ashley's typical punctuation, used mommy when referring to Stacey, a term she never used, and it didn't match her writing style. They realized that Stacey had just tried to kill her daughter and frame her for Michael and David's death. Obviously, suspicion returned to Stacey, even though she tried to pin it on her daughter. And when forensic analysis came back, they found Stacey's fingerprints on the suicide note.
Boom.
Damn, girl, get some fucking gloves.
Really?
Idiot.
Seriously.
When they analyzed the family's computer, they could tell the note was written at a time confirmed to be when Ashley was at school. Around the same timestamp of when the note was written, Stacey was recorded on the wiretap talking to someone and could be heard typing, proof that she authored the note. Now, this is where we come back to the term anti-free. If you also remember, in Stacey's interrogation with the police, she slipped up and she said anti-free. And I thought, even reading it, and probably you guys hearing it, probably thought she just stopped herself from saying the full word. However, that is not the case. Stacey legitimately thought that it was called anti-free. And not only did she use that term in her interview with interrogators, she used it 4 times in the suicide note.
Yeah, because at first you might sit there and be like, oh, surely it's just a misspell. No, 4 times.
It was
consistently.
Yes. And that's what she said in her interview, which is just shocking.
Yeah.
Now, with mounting evidence, Stacey Castor was arrested on December 20th and charged with second-degree murder, attempted murder, and forgery. At her trial on January 12th of 2009, 2 years later, her defense argued that Ashley, driven by jealousy of her younger sister Bree's relationship with their father, decided to kill her father. They also argued that Ashley never wanted Stacey to marry David and didn't like how he treated her, and because of this, she killed him and then attempted suicide from guilt. However, the prosecution refuted this by presenting Stacey's fingerprints on the antifreeze laid in glass, her drafting of the suicide note, and her manipulation of the events. Ashley and Stacey both took the stand, with Stacey blaming her daughter and alleging that she was mentally ill. Obviously, Ashley refuted this.
Yes.
And after 4 days of deliberation, Stacey was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to 51 years in prison, meaning her earliest release date was June 15th, 2055, just before her 88th birthday.
Now, the one thing I actually want to go back to a little bit here, Bev, is Ashley. Keep in mind, if she had killed her father, Michael, which she didn't, but if she had, she was only like 8 or 9 at the time. So you kind of think about the plausibility of that alone, never mind the contradicting evidence, but you're like, how could a 9-year-old kill their father like that and be so, to continuously give her dad antifreeze?
Yeah.
It's just not logical, right?
No, I don't think it's, I feel like it doesn't make sense at all. And shame on Stacey, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, at the sentencing, Ashley gave a heart-wrenching statement saying, I never knew what hate was until now. Even though I do hate her, I still love her at the same time. That bothers me. It's so confusing. I just wish that she would say sorry for everything she did. As horrible as it makes me feel, this is goodbye, Mom. As hard as you tried, I survived, and I will survive because now I'm surrounded by people that love me. despite making me, in every sense of the word, an orphan. After her statement, both Ashley and Bree cut ties with Stacey permanently. In addition, in 2011, David Jr. sued Stacey for his father's estate and won. Finally, on June 11th, 2016, Stacey Caster died in prison at 48 from a heart attack, which is a little bit ironic.
Oh,
just
a little bit.
You know? Like,
yeah. And young, too, 48.
Young, too. It's just like what she was happy to pin her first husband's death as.
Heart attack.
She died from.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
I do.
Isn't that weird?
I know. Sometimes I really think that whatever you want to call it, karma, divine intervention, I don't know. But, you know, when people have a guilty conscience and aren't like remorseful, they don't take responsibility, they try and like blame someone else for that shit. I really think karma can be a bitch because, you know, seemingly a 48-year-old woman in theory should not die from a heart attack. I know it happens, but in theory, right? So I always like to think in these moments that it's like you died because you're a terrible person and this is like the universe's way of being like, joke's on you.
Yeah.
Heart attack, dead. Sorry, not.
You know, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey is not a good person for that, I have to say. And I do understand Ashley saying like that love-hate relationship, you know?
Yeah, it's
God,
your mom.
Mother-daughter relationship, it knows no bounds in terms of like feeling that love despite
Awful things.
Occurring.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Either way, in this, you know, avalanche of a woman's life, 2 men lost theirs, and that's really sad.
It is.
So, Becky, this was the case of Michael Wallace and David Castor. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.